Well, hello, welcome back. So, this Tim Holtz Flip Flop Envelope Journal is taking over my life. I'm enjoying it so much. So, since I was with you only yesterday, I have now stitched in the signatures. They're all in and ready and set. I've even added in these 3 little flips I said I would. I've stamped and cut out some of the stamps, punched 2 little holes and put them on the end of the strings, and I've done that with a little bug as well. So it's really coming along. We've got the front on as well. I did some coffee dyed paper, one of the tattered flowers, the original butterfly that I talked about putting on the front, and then I remembered that I do have a Tim Holtz tatty butterfly, so I've put that on top, and I quite like the cream that matches the envelopes on the white and then on the text, then again on the coffee dyed paper to break it all away from the main text of that decoupage paper that's underneath. So really pleased with that. But now what I'd like to do is I'd like to make some tuck spots, and I want to make the tuck spots with stamps. In particular, I'd like to use this lovely rose stamp. Now I believe this comes from the Dear Departed, but I wanted to try and do it like a bit of a watercolour, so it's a bit of an experiment going on here. And typically I haven't bought my ink pads, so I'll have to go and get them in a minute. But so what I'm thinking is, if I can get the ink on here with some water, that's upside down, that's not going to help, ink on here with some water, and splodge it in this area, and then a little bit here and in this area, and dry that off, and then I can splodge a reddy pink through the middle. When I then stamp this down, hopefully the lines will be in the coloured areas, if that makes any sense. And I've got these really cheap, really flimsy postcards from Poundland. These are the ones I used last year to do my postcards home. There's just a few left. So I'm thinking this is a perfect size for this stamp. Look at that, there's a hair there, don't need that. So that's what we're going to do. And if it works, we'll find out. I then thought what I could do is do another 1 or 2 with pinky, greeny colours, and stamp the butterflies, and that would give the butterflies some colour. So that's what I'm planning to do today. Basically make a mess and see if it, sorry about Bo, see if it works or if it doesn't. So let me grab some ink and we'll see. Bo, we'll see what happens. So I've got pistachio, I've got ice spruce, oh, we could have spiced marmalade, we could have orange roses, or where is my, you can hear me rummaging in the drawer, can't you? Or I've got fired brick, or maybe even the aged mahogany. So let's have a go and see what happens, shall we? I've just realised the reason she's barking is because the postman's coming up the road. So we'll start with our greens and see what happens. So I'm going to start with the ice spruce up there and down there. I'm then going to run the crushed olive. I always call it pistachio because that's what it reminds me of, but it's actually called crushed olive. I'm going to put that through the middle like that, okay? And then I'm going to give it a good old squirt, like that. I'm going to take a paintbrush and see if I can't meld it all in together and like create my own type of colour. Now that's too yellow for my liking. I want it much greener Oh, that's red. That won't help, will it, if I start putting the red on there? Goodness me. It's all going wrong again. So we need lots more ice spruce from up there. And see if that is going to be better. I mean, at the end of the day, it's only paper and ink. Does it really matter? So now let's look at this stamp. So we want a bit at the top, we want a bit down that side, and then we want a lot at the bottom. Now the only trouble is, of course, that's going to stamp the other way. So that's wrong to start with, Claire. So why don't we just cover this up with all of this paint. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Look. And we can use that for something else. See, there's no such thing as throwing stuff away in my world. So I'm just going to pick a lot of this up so that we can clear off the decks a little bit. Okay, I'll use them for something else. Don't get that on the journal, Claire. Right, should we try this again? I've got some kitchen roll here. Let's clean this off. And let's remember that that crushed olive is a little bit crazy. So we only want to use a little bit of that. So instead of putting it all through the middle, I'm just going to put a little bit there like that, because it is a bit crazy. And then we're going to have loads of the ice spruce. Excuse my tins rattling. Right, move my tea bags. Let's see what happens now. I've got to think this through a bit better, haven't I? I'm sure it'll work. Just got to get your head round where you're going with it, if you know what I mean. Make sure that's a better colour. That's more like what I was trying to create. So we're going to have bits of light green leaf and bits of dark green leaf. Right, now let's do this again and think about this properly. Now it's going to go that way. So we need, oh, it's got red ink on it now. We're going to need a little bit on that side, like there. And then we want some down that side. And then we want it all on that bottom. That's the plan, I think. Do you know what? I'm feeling like this is just not the dark green colour that I want. So I'm not really very happy, to be honest. I know this is going to work, I've just got to think about it. And I think the answer is maybe, it's maybe to use watercolour pencils. So, see, you're learning with me here. So I'm going to get these out and we're going to see what happens here. So again, discard that one, we can use that for something else. Because in here I've got, look, a nice, got loads of greens. They always remind me of rose greens, those two. Right, so let's put that on the floor. Let's start this again. So get rid of this, because we can have that out of the way. If I'm working here, can you see what I'm doing? Yes, just about. Right, so I'm going to put some water on here. I'm going to think again about this. Now, it's going to sit there. If I put it next to it, we'll know exactly where we want to be. So then if I put my paintbrush in the water and I pick up some paint off my pencil, Okay, so we want there, yeah, and then we want it to come sort of down, down, maybe a bit more up. And obviously you can see this is not painting, this is just adding colour that the stamp is going to pick up. That's all I want to do. And then we've got a little bit more down here, like that, right? And then if I pick up the darker one and mix some more colour into this, like so. Okay, as you can see, I am no artiste, but if we give that a chance, oh no, we need the red, don't we? So we've abandoned all those inks that I went and dug out. Now, what colour roses? Do we want this really deep red, maybe? So let's have a little look. Then we've got this whole sort of area here. There. And then we've got another little bit sort of over here. Slightly different colour. Okay. And then maybe even add a little bit of this bright red. Does it even tell me? Yes, deep vermilion. There you go. And we can just add some of that in there. So there's some lighter areas. Okay. Now obviously it's very thin paper. It's not waterpaper. So it is warping a little bit, but I just, you know, this is trial and error to see what happens. While we're waiting for that to dry, let's do another one that we could be using for our butterflies so that we haven't got double drying time, and if it works, you know, it works. So obviously that's that stamp over there, and then if we go again, let's wipe this off so we're not contaminating colours, as it were. Okay, just wipe off my brush because it's got some pink in it. Right, now butterflies. What sort of colour butterflies would you like? Probably purples. What do we think? So what I'm going to do here is basically splod colour again. So splod in like that, and then I'm going to take the lighter one and come in between like that. That will give me hopefully a beautiful purple butterfly. So there's our purples, and then maybe we want a really vibrant red one. So over here we'll go there, red, and get a lovely red colour going on there. Okay, and then maybe we'll put some of this, like, what is this, magenta. So we'll add some magenta into that red, just get a little bit more colour. And then maybe we want some blues, do we? So 3 blues here. Start with dark, and again I'm just going to splodge on blue, and then I'm just going to add, what is this one? This is Kingfisher blue. And then we'll use the Spectrum Blue. I always feel like I should say Spectrum Noir, but there's a lovely colour one. Okay, and then maybe we could do like a greeny grey. I don't know if this is an actual butterfly or if I'm living in fantasy land, but you know. Right, see how we go with those. So let's get these pencils out of the way. As always, and tidy them up later. Let's put this up to dry and bring down this one, which is now dry-ish. Let's get rid of this as well. Don't need this. So put that up there. And see if this is going to work. See if I've totally lost the plot, or if we've actually got a rather clever little plan going on. So let's stick that on there. Just double check. Do you know what? I think that's going to work. Let's have a little see. It may, well, not may, it will ideally need more precision, but we're playing to see. Now let's have a little look. I think there. Now this is waterproof ink. This is the Spectrum Noir waterproof, and it's Noir Black. And we'll see what happens. Well, there you go. So it has worked, except I was a little bit off, you know, doofer with my roses. But you know what? I think that is a really good thing to practice and work on, and I think that's going to be quite awesome. And then I think if we sort of do a fussy cut, only a crazy fussy cut all the way around that could be quite good. I suppose the other thing is, here we go, if that is a waterproof ink, should we actually, stupid Claire, should we actually have done it the other way round? So let's just have a look if maybe that's how it would be easier to get our precision. And this is where you're all going, you stupid woman, of course that's the easy way to do it. You should have done it this way first. So there's our beautiful stamp. I do love that. Give that a little minute to dry. Find my reds that I used to colour that. Oops. That is the pencil box falling over that you can hear. There's my reds. There. That's not the green. That is the right green. And so is that one. Right. So I need to bring the glass tray back up because we need some water. Let's try it this way around. I think this is the way. Duh. Stupid woman. This is the way to do it, Fred. So I'm not going to colour these in properly. I don't want to paint them in. It's not a masterpiece. I just want to highlight green over the leaves. This is obviously the way to do it, Claire. Stupid woman. And you're all laughing at me going, well, of course that's the way to do it, Claire. We all knew that. You just like making your life difficult. But you know what? You have to learn. You have to learn these things. And I often find the best way to learn is by making mistake. Because I tell you what, when you do something and it works perfectly first time round, you don't necessarily remember what not to do, if you know what I mean. So let's mop that up. So there's the answer. I could have used the inks that I had out originally, but instead of dipping the paper, I should have used a paintbrush on them. And then obviously that is going to, and I'm deliberately going off the lines, going outside the box. Never did colour within the lines, it's not my life. As you've probably appreciated by now. Yeah, I love that it's messy, and there you go, there's the answer. If you're doing something precise like this flower, you need to stamp first in a waterproof colour, and then you can paint through. Yay! So this sort of worked, but that works much better. It's all a learning curve. And that's why I like to come and watch me, isn't it? Because you like to watch me do it wrong, so as you know what not to do. Right, now I think this will work for the butterflies though, because it is an exact shape, but it's different to that where you've got different areas. This is just one complete area. So this one I think I'm going to do in these blues. Now there's too much ink on that butterfly, you can't see those colours very well at all. Have we got one that's got less inkage? Inkage, is that even a word? Let's try that one. That one's better because you can see it coming through the middle. What about this one in that greeny at the bottom? Yeah, I think you're going to see that colour. So then one last one for the purple. What should we use for the purple? We've used that one already. Let's try this one. So the only way to really check with these, of course, is to fussy cut them out. So let's have a little look. This one I can see is not really showing up, but then I can't help thinking that is mainly because it's such a pale colour. So and as you can see, I'm doing an appalling job of fussy cutting this, but there you go, we can always, I mean there is some blue in there, but I mean it's not, you know, raging blue, and that one's not going to be either. But I think this pink one, so the lesson here is the more intense or bright, whatever, the actual colour underneath the stamp, I can obviously fine tune this fussy cutting later. Trust me, I wouldn't use it like this. Yeah, see the pink is a lot more rich. You definitely see the pink. And I think the purple's pale, the same as the blue, and then this other blue is pale as well. But I mean, I'll still use them. Waste not, want not, and all that. But I think the answer is probably that you need a much richer colour, as is proven with the pink one. but I'm very happy with this. So what I would now do with this is I'm going to fussy cut it again. So I'm going to try and look at the actual stamp, and I'm going to try and semi-replicate the way the stamp has been cut, if that makes sense. Still a bit damp. And then we could decide whether you wanted to keep those two straight, so that if you put it on a page, obviously it needs strengthening, but if you was to put it on a page, it would sit in that bottom corner like that, and then it would create you a tuck spot. As I say, it does need thickening, or of course you could carry on. Now I think actually I like it like that, so I'm going to look at strengthening it up by sticking probably some book page or something underneath, and then that'll be a lovely little tuck spot. And then maybe with this sort of bluey purpley one, we've got a little butterfly visiting, and that's just by using stamps with some, well, in this case colour pencils, but you could have done it with ink. So as always, a huge thank you for joining me. Stay safe. I'll be back very soon. Bye bye for now.